Reporters sometimes have trouble describing what happens in their story, so let's describe what we're about to see so you'll know how to correct it as the reporter blunders along. 16-year-old white girl in New York was walking down the street with her boyfriend. A large group of black people came up, started harassing them, threatening them, beating them, and they killed her. Capiche?
Now, new information in the deadly stabbing of a high school student in Westchester County. Police say it just held a news conference. They've identified the suspect as 16-year-old Zanaya Brown of Yonkers. She's accused of killing 16-year-old Valerie Schwab at a Dunkin' Donuts. Valerie was a student at New Rochelle High School. This is a live look at City Hall, and city and school officials are about to hold a news conference on this. We will monitor it and let you know about any new information. Right now, Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis is live at the police station. Marcus, what have you learned so far?
Well, David, the search goes on for the suspect. Police saying this was a ongoing dispute. The fight itself lasted about 10 minutes, spanned several blocks on North Avenue, finally ending at that Dunkin' Donuts where the victim was stabbed with a steak knife. And this is a picture of Zanaya Brown, the suspect that police have identified. She lives in Yonkers but is a former New Rochelle resident, and police say she is the person who fatally stabbed a fellow 16-year-old student of New Rochelle High School, part of that long-running dispute. Now, police say the incident yesterday unfolded involving 5 or 6 teens. It happened outside of school, spanning North Avenue down from Eastchester Road to the Dunkin' Donuts where the stabbing took place. Now, Valerie Schwab was stabbed twice in the left side of her torso. She was rushed to Jacoby Hospital but died of her injuries. And police say at some point Schwab used pepper spray against someone involved in the fight, but that was well before the fight turned deadly. Again, police publicly identifying the suspect and encouraging Zanaya Brown to turn herself in.
We're presently looking for the suspect and would encourage the suspect to contact us and request anyone with any information about the suspect or whereabouts or this incident to contact us.
Now, police say they have recovered the steak knife they believe is the murder weapon used in that incident. As for the school, today, extra security on hand at New Rochelle High School, grief counselors available as well.
Boy, the trolls just like to tell us, Colin, you're cherry picking. It's a big country. There's a big country. You're cherry picking. This is all anecdotal. But the one problem is so many cherries out there.
It's been more than 2 years since a Northeast Dallas 18-year-old girl was abducted, assaulted, and murdered blocks from her home and on her way to church. Tomorrow, the man who police say killed Zoe Hastings goes on trial. Antonio Lamar Cochran is charged with capital murder. Fox 4 Sean Rabb joins us now with a look at what we could see in court.
Clarice, it was 13 days before the arrest of Antonio Cochran by U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, the district attorney's office, hoping now to keep him behind bars for the rest of his life. The family minivan 18-year-old Zoe Hastings drove to return a red box video rental before Sunday evening services, October 11th, 2015, her gruesome crime scene. She'd never make it to church, found 1 day later dead outside the van, stab and slash wounds to her neck. Kendall Costello was an assistant prosecutor when Hastings was brutally killed.
So obviously this one had national attention right from the beginning.
DNA at the scene matched Antonio Cochran's in a national database from a 2014 sex assault case in Texarkana. Cochran was acquitted, but what happened then, similar to the facts in Hastings' abduction and violence against her body. He was charged with capital murder in Hastings' death.
Because it was such a tragic event, it was one that immediately was considered for the death penalty.
But the death penalty is no longer an option because Cochran, diagnosed with an intellectual disability, if he's found guilty, it's life without parole.
The key in every case is trying to get the very best possible result for your client.
Criminal defense attorney Barry Sorrell's not in this case, but imagines the defense strategy.
At trial, you're trying to figure out how to get a lesser included offense based upon the evidence that would create the possibility of a range of punishment.
Again, Cochran's DNA mixed with Zoe Hastings at the crime scene. Costello can see defense lawyers trying to explain its presence.
Maybe they knew each other, and that's why there's DNA involved in the case and not because there was some sort of foul play.
Jurors will have to decide if the evidence and hard-to-listen-to facts stack up with the story prosecutors tell.
There's really no question that an unbelievably tragic event has occurred. The question for this jury is, do we have the right person?
White people do it too, Colin. That's what the trolls tell us ad nauseum. And you know what? After watching the Globes the other night, it must be true because Oprah said it. She had to go back to a 75-year-old case to find one example of something that we see every damn day.
What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. So I want tonight to express gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse and assault because they, like my mother, had children to feed and bills to pay and dreams to pursue. A name I know and I think you should know too. In 1944, Reese Taylor was a young wife and a mother. She was just walking home from a church service she'd attended in Abbeville, Alabama, when she was abducted by 6 armed white men, raped and left blindfolded by the side of the road, coming home from church. She lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men.
Hey, Oprah. I'm sorry that Valerie Schwab is not around to speak her truth anymore. I'm sorry she's not here to describe the relentless harassment, threats, and violence she experienced at the hands of black people at her high school. Not to worry. On this channel, on my podcasts, on the videos that are still up by the hundreds on my Facebook page, you can find lots and lots of examples of people speaking their truth about what happens when you send a white kid to a school with a lot of black children. It's tantamount to child abuse, or in this case, murder. Maybe Oprah will get around to saying that, figuring it out one of these days. Or maybe she'll just go on making these empty speeches in front of empty-headed Hollywood stars that love making movies that don't make the black kids angry.